Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This time we're going to be doing a character review and discussion of CT-5555, aka Fives, or ARC Trooper Fives, if you want to give him his appropriate title. Now, Fives' story begins in the Clone Wars animated series. He starts off as a member of Domino Squad, which is this group of clones that aren't quite up to the same level as the rest of the clones in their unit, and they kind of are forced into action. And throughout the series we see members of that group progress and ultimately get killed off, until really Fives and Echo are the two last remaining ones, and then they have their own separate arcs that kind of deal with their fates. But as far as Fives goes, he is an example of what the Clone Wars really was all about. When it comes to the clones and the tragedy of the clone troopers, being pawns in this greater war, you see Fives deal with, that constant losing his brothers, losing these men that he served with that are his family, and the toll it takes on him as the series progresses. In the story arc involving the 501st, like, Umbara or the Citadel, like a lot of the things that Fives has been involved in are some of the best material in the Clone Wars, just because you do get to follow these characters, just starting out as regular troopers and then working their way up to ARC Trooper, which Fives does. And his story gets really interesting there at the end of the Clone Wars when he discovers, the truth behind Order 66. And as far as we know, he is the only clone that has made that discovery. And that answers an important question. Would, even without the inhibitor chips, would the clones have followed through with that order? And I think his reaction and his desire to try to save the Republic and the people he cared about, his fellow brothers, the Jedi he served with, I think it serves as an answer to that question. Because he's not just like, okay, well, that's what we're going to have to do when that order is given. He fights against it. He sees the plot, he sees the corruption, and he knows that it's not right. It's the right thing to do is to try to bring it to light. And unfortunately, in doing so, that ultimately leads to his demise. As no one really takes him seriously, and he's unable to really kind of provide the definitive proof. He kind of just gets overwhelmed, especially when he takes the truth to the Chancellor, and the Chancellor basically tries to have him framed as a clone gone rogue. And I think at the end it was just too much for him. You got to think, on a clone trooper, like, that realization that pretty much the entire war that you've been fighting and watching your brothers die for has been this lie, this ruse, this facade, that was only meant to further some evil plan. That's got to be just world shattering for someone who's devoted their life to serving a cause, and then finding out that what was the fight really for. It was all just meant for the clones to be used like mindless droids and then thrown away. And I think that's ultimately the tragedy of Fives. Fives is probably one of the best developed clone troopers in the series and in all of Star Wars, really. So I'm going to give Fives a 9.1 out of 10. I think this is someone that fans really resonated with. A guy that really fought for the Republic and was loyal and served his brothers, served his regiment till the very end, always trying to do the right thing. And like I said, his character development from just, being kind of this headstrong, naive rookie clone to becoming an ARC trooper and one of the most important pieces of the end of the war, I think justifies a high score. So, but yeah, that's going to be it about Clone ARC Trooper 5s. And if you have any thoughts, leave a comment below. Subscribe, hit that subscribe button. We're well on the way to 100. And as always, may the force be with you. Now let's blow up that like button and go home.